we're good for now. So yeah, I wanted to just talk today about like an actual like real world practical use case that we were running into with like one of our clients. Just kind of get your perspective on it and kind of talk about how we can essentially like use AI practically. And don't think of this as me like trying to sell anything anyway. But think of this as like trying to all brainstorm together on like how we might try to use AI to solve like a real world problem. And by the way, I'm Natan. I'm the founder of an AI company, Anote. So let me give you guys some context on this. So let's say you're an organization, and every month you have like proposals or something that you want like to fund, like maybe a project. And what you want to do is you want to get the best people working on problems that you're like interested in. So what you do is you'll put out this thing that's called like an RFI, and you're like, hey, I'm looking for something related to AI and machine learning or healthcare, right? And you're like one of these organizations, and you get thousands of people around the world who see your RFI and are building cool, unique, innovative ideas, and they'll kind of put in responses. And these documents, they might be anywhere between 5 and 25 pages long. There might be like thousands of the applications. And right now, you have people within your organization who are like experts in a field, right? And these experts will kind of get routed to a proposal, and they'll read it. You'll have like maybe 3 or 5 people go through these documents and review it. And then from there, it can take like a while, but after you get all like the feedback and review it all, you'll get a score, and then like the teams who had the best proposal or application might get an award or a contract or an opportunity, right? So does that make sense? Any questions on that? So thousands of proposals, people within our organization that want to review them. Maybe it takes around 6 to 9 months from when someone actually submits a proposal to when you get a decision like, yes, no, we were awarded, which is like a lot of time. And maybe the process looks like this, right? You receive all the proposals. You want to categorize or route it to the right point of contact. The point of contact will like review the proposal and provide a score. You might want to merge the score from different reviewers, and then maybe you'll have some final compliance checks, and then you'll send the results. And the question for you guys is how might we use AI to help automate this process a little bit to save like the time and cost in a way that's really accurate, fast, cheap, and is reliable. And maybe you still want the humans to be reviewing this proposal because you value their expertise and don't want to trust an AI because you need like high quality decisions, or maybe in the future they'll just be AI, right? So for some like the business case here, right? Let's say you have an organization and right now they have 80 people going through these proposals, and you have 1,000 documents, and maybe each of these people are paid like $70K a year, and it's taking them, let's say, like 6 months to go through these documents. And you want to kind of have a solution that will kind of do this really quickly in like 10 days, right? So the question is, how would you do this, right? Just before I share this slide, oh, sorry, give me a second. I'm curious if you guys have any like ideas on how you might go about trying to build something like this. Yeah.
Start by saying something that I would avoid, and it's asking AI for scores, because usually this is the area where it gets lost the most. So I'll try to structure the system in a way that I can provide different alternatives, and then have the AI to choose one or other path. And based on the passes, I will build some algorithm to decide on a score where it's mostly aligned to my goals or the criteria that I'm trying to solve. Like the proposal is supposed to solve some problem, so I will see the alignment and the potential issues with the proposal and try to evaluate it on that layer. So kind of moving away from scores tower to the goal.
Okay. It's an interesting point. I like the idea. Anyone else? So let's say we decide that we're like, okay, we receive all these applications. And maybe the first step is we have maybe like 1 million people apply to this thing, right? So we want to like filter out anything that just doesn't fit the initial criteria. Maybe there's like too many pages, or there's like asking for more money than the award has, right? Or something that's completely off topic or written by ChatGPT we want to like exclude, right? Let's say we do that. The next step is we want to essentially make sure that each person who's an expert is reading the right proposals. So we want to route the proposals that we get to like the accurate POC at each organization. Who maybe someone who knows a lot about like AI will read AI proposals, but someone who knows about healthcare will read healthcare proposals. Then we want to somehow give them maybe an AI-assisted score, but we want them to score it themselves, and we want them to put the best score in, and maybe we want to merge it, and then like send the final score in a really rapid process. So like that's like a reasonable maybe approach. There could be better ways. So let's say the first step, we have these proposals and we want to kind of do these filters. So we're like, hey, does this proposal have a title? Does it have an abstract? Are there specific keywords that like we shouldn't include here because it's confidential? Is there information with proposals that are like above a certain amount of money, right? So there's kind of concept of heuristics, right? And this is kind of the concept of programmatic labeling, right? Where you can be like, if there's a keyword or an entity here, we just want to apply these heuristics. And then, you know, from these heuristics, we have a subset of our proposals, and maybe we want to root it with specific categories. So we want to kind of bucket the ones that are in autonomy or the ones that are in cybersecurity or healthcare, because we have personnel who know a lot about those areas, and we think it'd be better for them to like review them than like some random person, right? So we want to kind of go from something that looks like this, where we have all these people who are like specialists in specific fields, like Dr. Johnson, who knows a lot about autonomy, and Dr. Clark, who knows about energy. And we have these proposals, and we don't know what category they are in, but maybe there's like a high budget, so there's lots of decisions being made here. And we want to kind of be able to give each proposal we see a category prediction. And then based on the category prediction we have, we want to actually route it to the person who knows about that category, so they're reviewing it rather than some like rando, right? Does that make sense? Cool. So I'm just going to go really quickly, because I never really have ever demoed our product here. So I just wanted to show like how like this might work if you use like Anote. So you could just hit this get started button, and you go to this like label flow, and you can upload, you know, maybe I have here on my screen, I have some, you know, proposals. And I have these like training proposals, and maybe it looks like this, right? Like an example proposal that someone's written. And this could be like my training set. So what I might want to do here is I might want to upload these tasks, and I'll call this like my proposals or whatever. And this is text classification because they're just like a few categories. So we're going to upload these 6 training proposals here. I'm going to upload files. And I've uploaded these, right? So cool. And we have these categories, right? So we have autonomy. We have something that's like cybersecurity, right? We have healthcare, I believe, or health tech. We have energy, and we have logistics, right? So these are documents, these are our categories. We might just try to do some initial heuristics, like, right? Maybe if there's like the word AI in this proposal, then we think that's related to like autonomy or something like that. We could add like other rules like entities. And now maybe we see these kind of proposals here. And you can kind of see each document. Maybe you want to label this one as like an energy item, and this one as like logistics, right? And so you're kind of labeling these items, and then as you essentially might label these kind of proposals, you might train a model to try to make predictions on like how well I can categorize these, right? So I have this history of like the documents I've labeled, and I make these labels. Now I have these predictions and maybe a probability score, right? So each of these are kind of with associated category, and I could just download this. So now I ideally can do some sort of script where I have these categories. I can essentially merge the classified category, and I have this score, right? So I want to merge this to like the right POC who knows about that topic or field. And so I match essentially Dr. Johnson, who's autonomy, with the proposal I predicted about autonomy, right? Now I want to basically maybe email all these people about the proposals I have, right? To kind of give them the opportunity to review them. So you can kind of maybe use something like this, where you can use some like automated emailing, or you can email everyone individually, and maybe you send them some sort of email that looks something like this, right? Yeah, and maybe you send them like a link to some portal and say like, hey, Dr. Johnson, here's this autonomy proposal. Are you able to kind of review it in some sort of portal? So Dr. Johnson gets this link. He kind of goes and clicks on this link. And maybe there's some sort of way that there's like these projects. So you might have a project. This will be called like the proposal project, right? And maybe we'll have like the different people who should have access to specific things. So this is the autonomy case. So I want to essentially add to this autonomy project, I want to add Dr. Johnson, who will be like maybe an admin, right? And then I'll have someone who just also an autonomy that will just see the proposal, but maybe not do anything with it. So there'll be like annotator, right? So now I have all this information, and I want to actually go and help generate these proposal predictions. So I have this data set, I have these documents, and I have these proposals. And what I want to do is I want to see if there's a way that I can basically help use AI to assist with this actual proposal writing. So I upload these documents. And while I'm doing this, maybe I might want to evaluate this in different kind of components. Maybe commercialization, right? Like, which is basically like, is there like a path to like making money, right? Or as Ava's talk was about, like revenue, I don't know, right? Or maybe I want to know if there's like accept, right? Like, should I accept this like submission as like good? Maybe that's like a categorical question. So this could be like great, like yes, no, and like maybe or whatever, right? And what I might want to do is I can add these kind of criteria that I might use to evaluate this. And I'll hit this train model button, which essentially will help me go through all these sort of proposals I have. And it will give me like an AI recommendation. And you can imagine maybe this first proposal, yes, there is, right? And maybe I should accept it, right? And you can have these different people that are in charge of writing these things. And as you kind of do this and you hit this sort of train button, the model trains in the background. So I actually like ran this ahead of time because it takes some time. But you can essentially see, like sometimes you can see basically your existing like training runs. So you can see, let's see if this has it. Oh, it should be here. Yeah, you can kind of see like the actual predictions from like the model here. And as you can see, sometimes the model might not always make these like great predictions, but then like over time, as you would essentially go through and actually make more items, you can actually adjust and edit these kind of items and do like some sort of fine tuning to improve the proposal, right? And as you kind of do that, you're kind of improving the model's output over time. So,
Who would be doing that? Is that the reviewer?
yeah, so this is like the person who's currently right now like going through like whatever portion of the proposals they're assigned, and maybe like writing these for like 10,000. And the idea is like rather than having to do that for all these, maybe you can have the AI that can help like assist that.
Oh, so it's a separate role. It's not the doctor that would be reviewing it, is it?
Yes, you can kind of think like right now there's like the actual person who's like writing the reviews, and then there's like the admin who will merge all of them, and then the admin will kind of decide like, hey, this will actually is like a good proposal, and I should like give it a contractor award. And so like the reviewer basically would only have access to see the document and write the reviews. The admin essentially can like see all the things that everyone has kind of done, and they can see like all the items, and you can kind of like get all these scores of each essential like person you've done and how well they're doing, so you know if like it's valid or not.
Why did you choose not to have I'm not sure if this is the right term, but that final doctor persona? Why not have that person review it? And so when I'm building things, I want to have the training as part of the workflow, so that some percentage of cases I would misdirect knowingly. So let's say like a boundary, something that scores just under the threshold, feed it into the review workflow anyway, and ask for feedback just to keep training the model so that the ones that you've rejected with the AI do get a second shot in case that was rejected incorrectly, and there's like a human in the loop kind of feedback. So why did you, again, sorry, the question was, why did you choose to have a separate role for this, for training, rather than having the subject matter expert give feedback, so that if something is miscategorized, they're catching it in the process?
Yeah, exactly. So I think we basically agree. Like, so essentially, like you would have like this AI model that might make the initial predictions, but the AI model might not be super good. So then you have these like subject matter experts that see the documents and then are like labeling. These could be people or AIs, and you might take that input and then adjust the model to like learn from that to be better. Hence, like maybe in the future, saving it from being like 20 minutes per document to like 5 or something. And that's kind of the approach. And then it's like how many inputs do you need to get to a point where the AI is like good enough? And that's dependent on the data set and task. But yeah, so that's the general idea. And then there's this kind of concept of evaluation. So you only know this is like really good if you're able to evaluate both like the answers and like the categories. So there's kind of metrics. You can kind of see like for like the classification, you can see like metrics like these, right? Which might do like how well is your category or routing. And then for like things like prompting as well, there's a variety of metrics you can do for like things like how well is like the answer actually doing. And there's like a whole field on how you can like evaluate these. So yeah, I know we're almost at pizza time. So I just want to close by saying like why this matters, right? Like I think you can actually think about this in like a real world case where not only is it like super time consuming and costly to just be like going through all these proposals by hand, like manually reviewing them. And this whole process just takes forever. So anyone who like will apply to these proposals takes like 6 to 9 months. But also, you can imagine because this is super tedious and time consuming, you might have like a lot of people that just kind of are seeing these documents, going to page like 2, kind of taking a snooze, then like putting some like random score in. So instead, you want to kind of leverage AI to help get more accurate kind of answers and submissions. So you can actually get like really the best proposals from people that submit things to actually be awarded, which can help like solve the problem that the customers have. So very important to not only do this in a timely and cost-effective way to help everyone in the process, but to get the best proposals. I won't ramble on, but thanks for your time. I think we can take questions as we eat pizza and drinks, but come find me, and thank you.